Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Robert's Sports Show. I'm your host, Robert. Week 8 of the NFL is underway Thursday night. Wow, Week 8's here already. Week 7 getting over last night. Week 7, I was 7-8 versus the spread. Not horrible. I was 12-3 with just straight win losses. So that's actually an improvement over the first 7 weeks. Obviously, teams being favored weird and winning by a bunch and stuff. So we'll see if we can get those numbers up a little bit on that versus the spread. Week 8, we start Thursday night. We have the San Diego Chargers, 5-2, leading the AFC West, at going to Denver, who is 5-1. Denver is favored by 7.5. Obviously, you got the 1 and 2 place teams in the AFC West, so this is a very important divisional matchup. The division could come down to these two teams. Denver's won 3 straight. Denver's actually 4-0 when they score first, and the Chargers are 4-1 when they score first. There's only one team that's gone on the road and win on Thursday nights. It's Indianapolis a few weeks ago versus Houston. Typically, it seems like the Thursday game is more favorable for the home team because you got to travel, no practice. That's why the NFL this season decided to make Thursday's game always a interdivisional game. There's been some lopsided scores. With Denver favored by 7.5, I think Phillip Rivers is good enough to go into Denver. I don't think they're going to win, but I think they'll cover the points. So I got Denver winning, Peyton at home. Peyton last week, congratulations to him, the all-time touchdown leader, surpassed Brett Favre. Very nice for Peyton Manning. Second, we had the 5-2 division leading Detroit Lions versus the 2-5 Atlanta Falcons. Detroit is favored by 4. The Detroit Lions are actually 3-1 when they score first, and Atlanta is 1-1 when they score first. I'm taking the Detroit to win this. I'm giving them the points for that. We have the 2-5 Minnesota Vikings at the 1-5 Tampa Bay Bucks. Tampa Bay is favored by 3 at home. Minnesota has lost 3 straight. They're 2-2 when they score first. Tampa Bay is 1-1 when they score first. And Tampa Bay is one of 2 teams not to have a lead at halftime this year. I'm taking Minnesota to win this. I think Tampa's looking pretty bad. The Vikings look bad, but I think they're going to break that 3-game losing streak and be able to pull one out here. We had the 3-4 Chicago Bears versus the 5-2 New England Patriots. The Patriots are favored by 6.5. Patriots on a 3-game winning streak. Obviously, Tom Brady, since that nightmare loss at Kansas City on Monday night, he's won 3 straight. He's thrown 3 to 4 touchdowns every game. New England is 3-0 when they score first. I'm picking the Patriots on this one. I don't know what is going on with Chicago Bears right now. Jay Cutler, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Either he's a touchdown throwing machine or he's a turnover machine. You don't get the middle ground with Jay Cutler. You get one or the other. I know Brandon Marshall has been kind of public about issues there. They got Jeffries, they got Forte, they got Greg Olsen. They got a lot of weapons on offense. Cutler's not getting the ball to him. So 3-4. I look at New England just keep winning them along. Obviously, Peyton was embarrassed on Monday night, and he's taking it out on everybody he faces. We have the Missouri matchup, the I-70 game. We have the 2-4 St. Louis Rams versus the 3-3 Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs are favored at 6.5 at home. St. Louis is 0-2 when they score first. Kansas City is 2-2. Obviously, coming off beating the Super Bowl champions last week when Kansas City beat up on Seattle. That Rams team is just kind of there. That defense was supposed to have been spectacular this year. They've not done a whole lot. They had 3 sacks in that game. They had 1 coming into the game. Russell Wilson just was dynamic in that game. Threw for 300 yards, rushed for 100. I think one of the first quarterbacks actually to do that. Still, did it for a loss. That came into that final play. I don't understand what the issue that was. You could tell he fumbled. You could tell the Seattle got the ball. I don't know where. I mean, I've seen a lot of plays that were a lot more obvious. But that was pretty. It was pretty obvious what happened there. So I don't understand the whole call on that. But it is what it is. St. Louis won. Their third string quarterback. He's looking pretty good. He's hanging on to the ball. He's not giving turnovers. So I'm actually picking St. Louis to win this. Coming off that game, if you can beat the Super Bowl champs, the defending Super Bowl champs, you might be able to beat your cross-state rivals. So I'm giving St. Louis the win on that one. Speaking of the defending Super Bowl champions, the 3-3 Seattle Seahawks versus the 3-1 Carolina Panthers. Seattle's actually favored by 5 on this. I like Russell Wilson as a quarterback. I like Marshawn Lynch. I like what was going on in Seattle. I know last week they traded Percy Harvin. Supposedly he was a cancer in the locker room, but it's like none of that comes out till after he's gone. Supposedly last year at the Super Bowl, Golden Tate had a black eye. Him and Percy Harvin got in a fight. So I guess it was about time that he moved on. Coming off that loss, you kind of needed to get a playmaker like that. I don't know why. It is what it is, I guess. I got Carolina winning this. We have the 4-3 Buffalo Bills versus the 1-6 New York Jets. The Jets are favored by 3 at home. This is another divisional game. Obviously, the Jets are 1-6. They're not going anywhere fast. They've lost 6 straight games. Buffalo, obviously, with Fred Jackson getting hurt twice in the last week's game, and then C.J. Spiller breaking his collarbone. They don't have much of a running game there in Buffalo, so I'm still letting Buffalo win this because I don't think the Jets are that good. I think they're pretty bad. Even with Percy Harvin, I don't think they're good enough. I don't understand why they got the Jets favored in this game because Percy Harvin is just a one player. He's not that dynamic. Yeah, we have the 3-3 Miami Dolphins versus the 1-6 Jacksonville Jaguars. Miami is favored by 5.5. Miami is actually 2-0 when they score first. So that's kind of an interesting stat there to be 3-3 and 2-0 when you score first. So it sounds like they got to get the ball and get scored or stop them and get that first score. Jacksonville beat Cleveland last week handily. It seemed like Jacksonville's one of those teams. It's like they're playing for the #1 draft pick next year. It's like who are they going to draft? They got a quarterback. They got Blake Bortles. I guess they go for a receiver or running back next year. I don't get it, but they're not playing good. You got 3 teams: the Tampa Bay Bucks, the New York Jets, the Jacksonville Jaguars are all there with 1 win. You got Oakland there with 0 wins. It's Oakland. They got a quarterback, Derek Carr. I mean, who's in the Jameis Winston sweepstakes here? Next, we have the 5-2 Baltimore Ravens versus the 3-2-1 Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals last week had 8 straight drives without a first down, which is second only to the 2011 Baltimore Ravens. They had 9 straight drives without a first down. Cleveland, with that high-powered offense, I know A.J. Green's hurt with that big toe injury. Only had 103 yards of offense versus the Indianapolis Colts last week. Baltimore is 5-0, so all 5 of their wins have come when they scored first. Cincinnati is actually 3-0 when they score first. All 3 of their wins have came when they score first. So this game is probably going to come down to whoever scores first. I'm actually taking Baltimore to win. Cincinnati is favored by 1. As we've seen in other games with Cincinnati this year, I believe it was the Patriots game where Cincinnati was favored by 1 because Patriots were coming off that bad loss to Kansas City, and the Patriots just wiped the floor with them. So I look at Baltimore winning that and going to 6-2. We have the 5-1 Philadelphia Eagles versus the 5-1 Arizona Cardinals. Arizona is favored by 2.5 at home. Philadelphia is 3-1 when they score first, and Arizona is 5-1 when they score first. So that means they've scored first in every one of their games this year. I look at that continuing here. I look at Arizona winning at home. I think Arizona's playing good right now. I see them getting the win here. We have the 0-6 Oakland Raiders versus the 3-3 Cleveland Browns. Cleveland is favored by a touchdown at home. Um, the Raiders have not let it happen. It's one of two teams not to lead at all at halftime this year. Cleveland, they're 1-1 when they score first, taking Cleveland to win and giving them the points with that. We have the 5-2 division tie with Detroit Green Bay Packers versus the 2-4 New Orleans Saints. The Saints are favored by 1 at home. Yes, I said the Saints were 2-4. I don't know what is going on in Big Easy this year, but Drew Brees is not having a good year. That team is just. They're in every game. It seems like it's just I don't understand why their win-loss record is not so great. Green Bay is actually 3-0 when they score first. They have a 4-game winning streak. I see Green Bay winning this handily over the New Orleans Saints. On Monday Night Football, we have the 2-5 Washington Redskins versus the 6-1 Dallas Cowboys. Last week's game at halftime, Kirk Cousins got pulled. For Colt McCoy, Cousins leads the league in turnovers with 10 this year. I don't know. I don't know if last year Kirk Cousins just had one of those kind of phenomenal seasons or what, but during the offseason, even in the preseason, Kirk Cousins was a highly sought after quarterback because everybody thought he was it, and now he just throws the ball to the opponent versus his own guys. But, in his own defense, Deshaun Jackson hasn't been himself this year. Alfred Morris hasn't been himself this year. The RG3 injury, the defense hasn't been playing that well. But to lead the league in turnovers is not a good set to lead the league in. On the other hand, we get the 6-1 Dallas Cowboys. They are 4-0 when they score first. They've won 6 straight games. DeMarco Murray has 7 100-yard games straight, which is a record for the start of the season. The most consecutive 100-yard games in the season is 14 by Barry Sanders in 1997. So they're 4-0 when they score first. They're 4-0 when they lead at halftime. So it seems like if Dallas gets the lead, they're winning. They're favored by 10 points at home. I'm giving points to them and Dallas win. I know I've said before they're going to collapse. That Romo's not that great of a quarterback. But as long as they keep DeMarco Murray running the ball, I think they have a big shot at winning. He's eating clock. He's doing what he needs to do. The most of the great teams in the history, football, have always had a great, play action game. They always had a great running game. So the defense can't just set their sights on just the quarterback. You got to defend that run, and then you got to watch out for Des Bryant going deep and Jason Witten across the middle. So. But Dallas is actually surprising me this year. I hate to see, if they win this, go to 7-1, and then have their epic collapse. Everybody would be like, oh, it's just Tony Romo being Tony Romo. But when he's, winning 6 straight games, it's like, oh my God, Tony Romo. It's not all Tony Romo. It's DeMarco Murray. It's the defense not being on the field as much, not getting overexposed. It's a combination of the offensive line. It's a lot of things. It's not just Tony Romo either winning the game or losing the game. It's the overall team is winning these games. I'm going to touch a little bit on college football. As everybody knows, this year is going to be a 14 playoff. It's right around the corner. The AP Top 5 has 4 SEC teams, which is absolutely amazing. The ESPN Power Rankings, number 5 is the Auburn is 5-1. According to the ESPN Power Rankings, they have a 5% chance of going undefeated, going undefeated the rest of the season. They play at South Carolina, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, Georgia, Stanford, and Alabama. Obviously, Ole Miss and Alabama are in the top 5. There's going to be some tough matchups. Texas A&M, Ken Hill looked amazing to start the first game of the year. They're going like Johnny Who. And then now, that shellac, just a brutal game last week. Alabama blowing them out 59-0. So, Auburn's got a chance to win most of those games. They're a one-loss team. There's a lot of good teams at one loss. So obviously right now there's only 3 undefeated and there's 4 playoff spots. Got Alabama at number 4 at 6-1. According to the ESPN Power Rankings, they have a 15% chance of winning every game the rest of the season. They play Tennessee, LSU, Mississippi State, West Carolina, and Auburn. So you get that Alabama-Auburn matchup. We're matching up with Mississippi State, the number 1 ranked team right now. LSU, another SEC team. LSU actually plays another one of these top 5 teams, so they could in the SEC, so they could really be a spoiler for this. Third, we have the first of the 3 undefeateds. We have the 7-0 Ole Miss. Ole Miss has according to the ESPN rankings, has a 7% chance of going undefeated, winning the rest of the games. They play LSU, Auburn, Presbyterian, Arkansas, and Mississippi State. So they play 2 teams in these top 4, or top 5, and LSU. So we'll see if they can pull that off. Florida is ranked 2nd, and they're 7-0. They have a 32% chance of winning the rest of their games. They have a very, very easy schedule compared to their 4 opponents. They play Louisville, Virginia, Miami, Boston College, and Florida. Jameis Winston is coming off his Heisman Trophy season. He's supposed to be just it as a quarterback. His skill set's supposed to be second to none. Obviously, with all his off-the-field issues, and there is a long list of off-the-field issues. Just the latest where he got suspended, versus LSU for that whole game for getting on the table in the cafeteria and screaming profanities. What is wrong with this kid? This kid has the world in his hands, and he's just like it's like the world's like a glass ball, and he's just juggling it, seeing if he can drop it. I hope he gets his life turned around and becomes something in the NFL. But right now, if any team in the NFL next year wants to draft him top 5, top 10, we got another Jamarcus Russell on our hands. So hopefully I'm wrong, but that's the way it looks at right now because he has so many off-the-field issues. He's going to get arrested for something and go away, not be able to play. Number 1 ranked team right now is the Mississippi State. They're 6-0. According to the ESPN Power Rankings, they have a 4% chance of winning the rest of their games. They play Kentucky, Arkansas, UTM, Alabama, Vandy, and Ole Miss. So obviously Ole Miss and Mississippi State, both of them cannot go undefeated. You got Alabama and Auburn, both with 1 loss. That's not going to end up, they face each other. So it's like those guys in the SEC division can knock themselves out. Florida, it looks to me, I don't know if Mississippi State can beat Ole Miss or, how that's going to go down. That game will probably end up being one of the 4 spots in the playoffs. My prediction is, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, one of those will be in the 4. Florida, and then Alabama and Auburn, and probably an Oregon or a team like that will come up and win out and get a 1-loss team in there. But a lot of interesting things with this playoff system for college football. I know next year they're going to 8 teams, I believe it is. I don't know. It's a little different. I'm not a big college guy. It's kind of a casual college football fan. I watch highlights and know who's good, who's not, and kind of pay attention to the bowl games and pay attention to the national championship. So, if I had to go on a limb right now and get a bold prediction for the Final Four for the college football, I'm going to say Florida, Ole Miss, Alabama, and Oregon, with Ole Miss national champions. So we'll see how that turns out for me. So that's all for Week 8 of the NFL picks and preview. And thanks for watching. Enjoy the football this week. And like I said, keep checking back for any pro wrestling fans out there. I have a Hell in a Cell preview and review coming up. I'm going to have if you're a wrestling fan, kind of what I would do if I was writing these pay-per-views for WWE. I'm going to do a video with Major League Baseball, the Hall of Fame, and steroids, and stats and whatnot, and talk about Derek Jeter a little bit. So those are some upcoming videos to take a look for. Have a great evening. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.